Welcome back to the second part of this tutorial. Now I'm going to close this because we do need to create a database. So come straight into your SQL workbench and right here select the schema. Inside the schema I'm going to enter a name for that. I'll just call it data entry. There. Okay, that's the name of my table, data entry. So I'm going to click on apply. There. And let's click on apply again. There we go. Click on finish. There. And if you come right here, you should be able to see the name of your database. That's it right there, data entry. So drop it down, and right there we have a table. Right click on that very table, click on create table, and there I'm going to give it a name. I'll just call it data entry as well. Now see this double arrow here, click on it and come straight to where we have the column. Now enter the name of your column, your very first column. So the first column, I'm going to call that ref number, and I'm going to select, I'm not going to select integer, I'm just going to make it varchar and make it about 20 characters. That's fine. It's been I've checked it as my primary key, and not null. You must always enter something on it, and the primary key must be unique. Okay, come right here down and let's enter first name. Underneath surname, and right underneath the surname it's going to be address. Underneath address, I'm going to call that telephone. Right underneath my telephone, I'll give that reg date, registration date, reg date for short, and proof of address, no, proof of ID, not address. Press enter, and the next one in there, I'm going to call that current date. Current date. Yeah, the spelling is correct. Okay. Press enter. And here I'm going to enter member type. If you notice, there's no space in between. Okay, then the next one here is going to be member fee. There, that's it. I'm not going to bother change all of these characters, all of these data type here, but you can change yours if you want. Okay, that's fine. I have 10 columns in total. Click on apply and click on apply again. There. So the database is successful. So let's click on apply, then minimize that. That's my database ready now. There. I'm back in here. So let's create our table now. So what I'll do is I'm going to create the table right above the buttons. So let's copy this. Paste, and right here the first thing I'd like to do is let me create my scroll bars. So that's scroll underscore x for the x-axis, and the widget is called scroll bar. There we go. And this very scroll bar is going to be inside inner top frame 3. And the orientation is going to be horizontal. There we go. Close that. I'm just going to copy that and use it for the y-axis of my table. So all I'm just trying to do is to add a scroll bar to the table. Okay, that should be lowercase. And this one will become vertical. So enter vertical there. There. Now that is done. Right underneath this scroll bar is for the x-axis and the y-axis. Now right underneath, I now need to create my tables. So I'll just call that, let's call that tree, or maybe it's tree records. That's fine. Tree records equals, you get that from this library ttk dot treeview. And it's going to be right inside inner top 3. And the next thing is I must set the height. Let's make that about 18. You can change yours, the choice is yours. And the column in there is going to be as follows. Let's say equals, open a bracket. The very first one is going to be the name of the names on the columns of my database. So that is reference number. It has to be in quotes though, so put that in quotes, comma. Then the next one is first name. First name, comma, followed by surname. Okay, and so on. And right there, those are the names, the columns that I have on my database. Okay, and the next thing I did was I now use x scroll command equals scroll x. That is for these scroll bars here to be attached to my table. Okay, so that's inner top frame tree. Okay, that's fine. Now let's round up this scroll. Come right down here. Just a scroll dot pack, and it's going to be at the bottom, while the other one will be to the right. Okay, let's fill it to the x-axis, and the other one will be to the right. So I'm going to copy this, just drop it down and paste it down there. This is right, and here that becomes y-axis, and that is y-axis as well. Let's make sure, no, it's lowercase. Alright, that's right. Okay, that's fine. Now let's define how the table is going to look like. Now the next thing is I'm going to now create the table headings. Table dot heading, and the very first heading I'm going to have this in there. Paste that right there, and comma, the text that is going to be on it, I'm just going to spell that out or call it reference number. There. That's my very first one, the very first heading. I'm going to copy it. I have 10 in total. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and I'll enter the others. Copy and paste. There. So the next one is first name. Copy first name, paste. And this happened to be uppercase as well, followed by surname, and so on, guys. There. So I'm going to speed that up. Okay, those are all my headings, but it's still not going to show. So let's ask it and use the function that will show it up. So we'll say tree records. I'm going to enter square bracket there, and in there it has to be show. There we go. And show equals headings. There we go. That's fine. Now I need to put all of this in a column. So I'm going to copy this again, come right down here, paste, to record dot column. The very first column is going to be for this guy here. So copy that. Or I can just, okay, there's no need. Let's copy that alone. And I'm going to set the width. That is going to be, let's make that about 100. There. So that's the very first one. Now I'm going to copy it. I need about 10 of those as well. That's 5. Give it another 5. There. Now the next one is going to be for first name. Come in here, paste for first name. There. And the first name, I'm going to make that maybe on 150. Okay. Surname. So what I'm doing here is I'm referring to each column. And surname, I'm going to make that 150 as well. Then address. Address, we can make that about maybe 200 plus. Let's go for 252, 252, and so on, guys. Alright, so that's taken care of. Let's round up this my tree table. Okay, let's get it indented properly. So to round it up, all I just need to say is tree record dot park, and I will want you to fill up equals both comma and expound equals 1. There. Right. Look here, I have heading. It should be headings with an S. Okay, there. So I think we should be able to run it now. If I click on run, let's see what's going to happen with every single one of my fields there. There we go. Look at that. That's looking good. Okay. But guess what? It's still not going to be able to grab the database until we create a function to add the database on board. And then we get the system to bind it. Alright. Okay, let's create some of this function, but before then I'm going to need some variables. Let me just copy this because this variable will be very similar to the names of the table, or the names on the column of my table. So I'm going to come right up here, right underneath here. Let me paste that I've just copied. I'll be deleting most of it though. So delete this. And here that's going to be equals string variable. There. That's that done. Copy that and just change this around as well. Paste, get rid of all this. Paste, delete. Paste and delete. There. That makes life a bit easy. So I'm going to speed that up now. Now you guys get the whole idea. All I'm just doing is declaring my variables that I intend to use. Well, I'm almost there anyway. And there we go. I will also need just one more variable that I will be using for my search function. Get rid of this. And those are the variables that will be required. There. Now, underneath here, let's add search. Paste. There. Those are the variables. Okay. One more thing I'll do is let me add another variable for the dates. Here. Then one more, and that's going to be for, let's call that date today, right? Okay, paste that. In total I should have about 12 now. Alright, and that is fine. Let's go back up here. Alright, so why here, let me give this variable here. Let's give it something. Let's enter date on it. Let's say date dot set time dot string of time, and this is how it's meant to be. Let's enter pound there, slash another pound for month, slash, and y for year. Okay, that's the format I want it to look like. So I'm going to close it again. I also need one for this other one. I'm going to need one for this. So I'm going to copy this and let's just paste this here for now. And copy all of this up. There we go. Okay, these two functions that I've taken care of, I might as well call them. See, this one is going to be for my registration date. So let's go down here and just reg date. There we go, right there. So I'm going to say comma, and that, let's press enter. That's going to be text variable equals that. That's for registration. And the other one, dates today. Okay, dates, for dates today, I'm going to enter that here. That's a comma. That's going to be text variable as well, equals that. There. So if I run it, I should be able to see dates on those two widgets. There we go, 1, 2. Now you can modify if you want. Okay, that's fine. Close that. Now, the next thing I want to do is, since I've entered widget for dates in here, I might as well just enter the rest widgets because I'm going to need them anyway. Alright, come in here before we start to work with the function really. You see the reference, comma, press enter, paste, and that is ref num. Then we have the next one here, press enter, paste, that's for first name. And let's write the variable of this as well. as surname. Yeah, surname, comma, paste surname, change that to surname, and this one will be telephone, change that to telephone, reg is there already, and we have proof of ID. I think that is just called proof. Yeah, proof of ID, that is called proof. Yeah, let's change this to proof. Yeah, okay, there. I think, am I right? It's called proof ID. You can just get rid of that. So that is proof. Then what else do we want? We want search. Search is going to be search. That is search. Now, what's the variable for date? We have that variable for member type is member type, comma, that should be member type. There we go. And the next one here, member fees. Member fee, and finally address. So I have all of those variables in place for each component. Okay, now let's continue with our functions. So let's go back right up here. Since I've already created this, I'm going to take a shortcut, copy all of that again, and I'm going to come right underneath here. I will then declare a variable for reset. So let's come down here. So let's hold on. And that variable is going to be known as, is going to be known as, the function will be known as reset, enter semicolon, paste all of these that I've just copied. Right. Okay, indent all of these. Where is it? Right here. Okay, that's fine. So change these to dot set equals clear. All right. Do that here. Dot set and clear. There's nothing in there. Repeat the same thing for the others. So that should take care of clear or reset. So I will now go straight to the button that is called reset, and we just enter this. Come right down, the button called reset, where is it? There we go. So in there, enter a comma and enter command equals resets. There. But there's one thing I left out, the date. These two, I don't want them. I just want them to, I want the system to clear it if there's any date in it and reset it as well. So that's fine. So let's say if we run it now, and let's say the date of this has changed, we'll change this as well. Okay. session time. There we go. And these ones are back to the original date. Okay, that's fine. Now let's take care of another one first. The other one is going to be exit. I'm going to call that iExit. Right. For iExit, I'm going to enter, let's say, this local variable equals, take enter, dot message box dot ask, ask yes or no, and in there I'm gonna, this takes into arguments, so it's going to be data, that's the title entry form, that's the first argument, comma. The second argument will just be confirm if you want to exit. That's it. So enter that in here, confirm if you want to exit. There. Now let's come down here and use an if statement to validate the selection made by the end user. If iExit is less than 0, then root dot destroy. And come on, it should be a Y. There we go. And we'll just ask it to return. There. So we now need to call this iExit inside the exit button right here, comma, command equals that. So let's try that out. Hopefully there's no error on it. Exit. Yep. No, I don't want to. Yes, I do want to. That's fine. Okay, exit reset is taken care of. Now let's link up our database. The first one, I'm going to call it add data. Now let's use an if statement to validate whatever the end user enter. If reference number dot get, if it's equals to equals nothing, or first name equals nothing. Yeah, first name as well. Copy, paste, and we need surname as well. So that is if they are both nothing, we then want the system to do something. Right. Enter column there. So I'm just using those three. Those three are mandatory. You must enter your reference number, first name, and surname. But if there's a problem with that, I want a message box, so I'm going to copy this and just paste that in there. I want the message to display something. So let's change this to, instead of asking question, we change that to show error, and that's going to be, let's say, I'm going to come in here and just say enter correct details. All right, enter correct details. I think this might take 2 arguments as well, I don't know, but if it doesn't, we just delete it. So let's see, might as well give it a try and see. Else I want the system to do this. I'm going to create an SQL local variable, and that variable I'm going to call it MySQL. I received a comment earlier on. Someone could not or does not seem to understand how to get the Pi. To get the Pi, you have to install it. You have to go to your command line, locate where your script is on your system, and just type in Pi install Pi MySQL. That's why you press enter. Okay, there's some videos on YouTube that will help you how to do that. That is it. That's all you need to do, else it's not going to recognize that library. Okay, let me continue. Then the next thing I want to do now is to get it connected. Connect, and I want it to connect to my local host equals local host. It's a T missing, comma, and the user is the root, comma, then password. Okay, I'm going to make that up. Use the password I've been using for my SQL. Alright, that's the password I use, comma, then the database itself is called data entry. That's what I call my database, if you guys can still recall while I was creating the database. So that is it. This will be local for you guys as well. This will be root for you guys. Your password, whatever your password is, and the name of your table. Okay, if you are using PHP my admin most of the time, you don't need a password there anyway. You just need 1, 2, and 3. Just leave this one empty. Okay, now let's come down here and declare another variable. This one will be for the cursor. I'm going to call that course equals SQL con, yeah, that's correct, dot cursor, and this very cursor itself I want it to dot execute what? Execute the following. So in there we need to now use SQL statement. So let's say insert into my database here, whatever the name of your database is, enter it in their value, and these very values I'm going to enter them in here, sample of them, s, comma, I need 10 of those. Okay, and close that, comma. I now need to enter my variables, this very one, all of those. That we then have to change them to get. So I'll copy those, just paste them in there. Choice is yours how you want it, comma, enter comma, there this becomes get. Get, and change this to that. We don't need these 2. In fact, we don't need these 3. It's only 10. There we go. Alright, So this one, it can be like this. The choice is yours how you want it. Copy and paste. Okay, that's correct. And get it indented. Right. Okay, get rid of this one. Alright, that is fine. We have one. Okay, yeah, and I needed one here as well, else there would be an error. Okay, 1, 2. Okay, that's fine. Now let's close up this. We want this to commence first. Carry out the operation. Dot commit, and we also want it to close. Once that is done, dot close, and I'm going to get my tick into here just to give me a message that something has happened. Come right down here just to give us an information. We can change this to information instead of yes or no. There we go. That's an information. So we can say record entered successfully. Entered successfully, yeah. There we go. That's it. Okay, let's try out this function now. So, well, first thing first, I'm going to go straight to the button there so that I can call it. Say comma command equals add data. Okay, you enter that on that very button. So I will now click on run. Okay, so let's enter some data in here. So let's assume that's 7433 and the name is Sally Jones. Address number 17 Hilltop Road. Let's say that's Carltonville, London. There. And let's come down here and just enter some numbers as telephone number, proof of ID, driving license, and annual member, fee for annual member, and the current date. Let's change this one to registration date to that. Now we click on add new. Record entered successfully. So let's check my SQL database. So click on that. There's nothing, so let's kind of like refresh it and open up the table again. Let's see. There we go. That's Sally Jones right there. Good. That's fine. That's working. So let's add one more record. So I'm just gonna change this. Let's make a few changes there and change the name to Tony Montana, an address of Montana. It is 19 Little Venice. Little Venice, Carltonville, London. Okay, that's fine. Change the telephone number. Alright, he's an annual member as well. 2019. Click on add. There we go. So let's check that out again and kind of like refresh it. Now reopen. There we go. That's fine. So with that, guys, I'm going to call it the end of the second part of this tutorial, and I'll see you guys shortly.